What's up, guys? So today we get to talk about the kits for Ghost Rider and Elsa Bloodstone, as well as updates to Mordo, Scarlet Witch, and Doctor Strange, who all together make up the newest team coming to Marvel Strike Force, the Supernatural team. So really quick, I want to establish what you can expect from this team. So the Supernatural team is designed to be a strong mid-game team that performs best in Arena and Blitz. They aren't expected to be the new #1 Arena team, as they'll likely struggle against characters like Phoenix and Ultron, but they will do very well against many of the mid-game meta Arena teams, including the Defenders and the Guardians of the Galaxy. They'll also be very in demand for Alliance War, as they do well against the Guardians of the Galaxy hybrids that include Minerva. The other big advantage to building this team is that it benefits mid-game players who are working on finishing up the Mystic campaign, who can now pivot and finish out this team to see some returns in Arena. So that explains where they fit into the meta, so now let's take a look at their kits. We'll start with Ghost Rider. Ghost Rider's tags are Hero, City, Mystic, Brawler, and Supernatural. This means that Ghost Rider can also sub in on a Hero Brawler team and will work well as a 5th on the Defenders, as he's a City hero. So moving on to his abilities. Ghost Rider's basic is HELLFIRE. Attack primary target for 250% damage and apply bleed for 2 turns. This is a pretty standard basic, low initial damage because it also applies bleeds, which are more valuable in the current meta as bleeds ignore barrier. Ghost Rider's special is Hell Cycle. Attack primary target for 290% damage and apply 2 bleed for 2 turns. Attack all adjacent targets for 270% damage and apply 2 bleed. This attack cannot be blocked and cannot miss. So this ability costs 6 energy and starts full. So this ability is decent, moderate splash damage and early bleeds. Now this will typically be your opening ability, and with Ghost Rider having 127 speed, you'll get these bleeds down before most characters' first turns for that extra chunk of damage. Ghost Rider's ultimate is Penance Stare. Attack primary target for 500% piercing and apply offense down and defense down. If charged, this attack gains 200% drain and lose 1 charged. So this ability costs 4 energy and starts with 2. So in case there's any confusion, while the ability shows that it starts with 2 energy, it's not counting your first turn. By the end of your first turn, you'll be at 3 out of 4 energy and you'll be able to use this ability for turn 2. And this ability is massive. It's an absolutely monstrous, pure piercing nuke that cripples an enemy. If Ghost Rider is charged, this will heal him for the equivalent of 1000% piercing damage, which means a maxed out Ghost Rider will heal for somewhere in the neighborhood of 150,000 health. So how does he get charged? Ghost Rider's passive is Spirit of Vengeance. On death, grant 2 ability energy to all supernatural allies. On non-summoned ally death, attack the enemy that killed the target for 500% damage and gain +1 charged, up to a maximum of 3. Generate 3 ability energy for self. When a negative effect is applied to an enemy, change speed bar of self and all supernatural allies by 3%, gain 40% max health. Supernatural allies gain 40% max health, gain 30% focus. Supernatural allies gain 30% focus. So I absolutely love this passive. Not only is it thematic, but it's very powerful. In addition to brutally punishing any enemy that dares to kill a supernatural teammate, it also gives out ability energy, which means you'll be that much closer to reviving your fallen teammate with Doctor Strange, and or further protecting them and healing them with Scarlet Witch. Then you've got the fact that they'll all be gaining tons of turn meter as a result of the many debuffs being applied, which is helped by the focus that Ghost Rider gives the team. And then he makes typically vulnerable characters like Scarlet Witch and Doctor Strange a lot more survivable by granting them 40% max health. This ability is so huge. We'll also take a quick look at Ghost Rider's stats. Unfortunately, we weren't told what level Stark Tech they used for this footage. I also had to work with Fate's Fury of Legion of Cabal and Dark Femme of Pants of Hulk to figure out how characters scale from level 70 to 75. So shout out to those two for helping me out. If you're wondering, by the way, going from level 70 to level 75 improves health, damage, and armor by only about 2.5%, but it improves focus and resistance by a whopping 50%. Anyway, back to Ghost Rider. So if we assume level 25 Stark Tech, then Ghost Rider has above average health, about as much health as Crossbones and Thor. He has slightly below average damage, about the same as Pyro, which makes sense because of all the bleeds he applies, and somewhat low armor, comparable to Psylocke. He has average focus and resist numbers, though his passive will greatly improve his focus, and teaming him up with Loki can lower enemy resistance. Finally, his speed is 127, which is very fast. He's the same speed as Captain Marvel and Human Torch. So Ghost Rider looks awesome. Now let's check out the other new addition to this team, Elsa Bloodstone. So Elsa's tags are Hero, Global, Mystic, Blaster, and Supernatural. Elsa being a blaster means we have yet another viable pick for that tricky Catalyst of Change challenge. Now on her kit, Elsa's basic is Bloody Good Guns. Attack primary target for 45% piercing, and bonus attack 5 times for 45% piercing. In total, this ability deals 270% piercing damage. However, I suspect the reason that it hits 6 times is so that it can be extra effective even against enemies with multiple stacks of deflect or evade, as well as even still killing characters with 5 stacks of death proof. This basic has one job: find a way to hurt the target, and it delivers. Elsa's special is Trick Shot. Attack primary target for 300% damage, attack the most injured enemy for 350% damage, ignoring taunt and stealth. This ability costs 5 energy and starts with 2. So this ability is similar to Deadpool's special in that it's great for getting around a taunt to finish off a low health enemy. It 1-ups Deadpool, however, by both also damaging the primary target and ignoring stealth, which is awesome. Elsa's ultimate is Scatterguns. Gain offense up for 2 turns, attack primary target and adjacent targets for 250% damage, plus 25% damage per supernatural ally. This ability costs 6 energy and starts full. What is there to say about this ultimate? It's ready on turn 1, it gives 2-turn offense up to ensure more pain, and it hurts a lot. What more can you ask for? Elsa's passive is Red. On miss or on ally miss, if this character has 3 or more supernatural allies, attack that target for 270% damage. On enemy dodge, attack that enemy for 270% damage. Gain 10% crit chance. Mystic allies gain 10% crit chance. Gain 20% accuracy per supernatural ally. So this passive is great because it plugs a lot of potential holes in the team's offense. Now, if someone misses, she fills in and deals damage. If an enemy dodges, she jumps in and deals damage. In addition, she has 120% base accuracy, which means she reaches 200% accuracy on a full supernatural team, making her effectively blind immune, as blind only reduces accuracy by 100%. Now let's take a look at her stats. She has below average health, about as much as Yondu or Punisher, which is typical of a blaster. And don't forget, she'll gain 40% max health when teamed up with Ghost Rider. She has below average damage, similar to Mr. Fantastic and Mordo, but she will have 20% crit chance, which means her basic attacks will likely score at least 1 critical hit. She also has slightly below average armor, about the same as Loki, which is common for a blaster. She has above average focus, though she'll never use it, and she has well above average resistance, about as much as Mantis and Minerva. And finally, she's 114 speed, which is well above average, having the same speed as Captain America. So now you've gotten a look at the kits for Ghost Rider and Elsa Bloodstone, but now we get to talk about the part that I'm actually more excited for, which are the updates to Doctor Strange, Mordo, and Scarlet Witch. These are some of my favorite characters, and they've gotten some absolutely amazing updates to launch them right back into competitive play. We'll start by taking a look at Scarlet Witch. The changes to Wanda were made to her ultimate, Chaos Wave. They added in the line, if this character has 4 or more supernatural allies, apply defense down to all enemies. I absolutely love this change because Scarlet's ult is available on turn 1, which means not only can you use it right after Doctor Strange's and Mordo's turns to cripple the enemy by extending tons of debuffs, which will feed them speed bar thanks to Ghost Rider's passive, but the added focus from Ghost Rider means the defense downs are incredibly likely to stick, opening up the enemy team to potentially take a ton of extra damage. Scarlet also benefits a lot from the extra health from Ghost Rider and from Mordo's improved kit, which you're about to see. So speaking of Mordo, the changes to his kit were made to his passive, Too Many Sorcerers. Now, in addition to healing himself for 10% max health whenever a unit dies, he will also heal the most injured supernatural ally for the same amount. Also, in addition to healing himself for 15% of max health whenever any Mystic dies, he will also heal the most injured supernatural ally for the same amount. And finally, in addition to granting 1 to 2 ability energy to himself whenever any Mystic dies, he will also grant that ability energy to the most injured supernatural ally. Again, I absolutely love this change. It turns Mordo into a powerful sustaining force for the supernatural team, and it grants additional ability energy to supernatural allies whenever a Mystic dies. This makes it more likely for a character like Doctor Strange to get the energy he needs to resurrect that dead teammate, or more likely for Scarlet Witch to get the energy she needs to heal and protect those remaining allies until that revive becomes available. Also, the amount of increased healing Mordo will do now that he has 40% more max health from Ghost Rider is a very significant amount. And finally, let's take a look at one of my all-time favorites, Doctor Strange. The changes to his kit were made to his ultimate and his passive, so we'll start with his ultimate, Book of the Vishanti. Now this ability will first revive a supernatural ally with 65% health, and then revive another dead ally with 50% health. It will then still heal all allies for 8,000 plus 10% of Strange's max health. I absolutely love this update. Doctor Strange reclaims his title as the best resurrector by having the only double revive in the game. In addition, the amount he heals for has been effectively stealth buffed because he'll have 40% more max health thanks to Ghost Rider. As I mentioned, they also made changes to his passive, Master of the Arcane Arts. They've now added to his passive this line, which states, if this character has 3 or more supernatural allies, when a positive effect is applied to an enemy, heal for 5% of this character's max health and gain +1 deflect, up to a maximum of 5. And again, I have to absolutely commend the game design team here for perfectly addressing the exact shortcomings that this character had been dealing with, namely his low health and low survivability. Not only will Strange benefit from an additional 40% max health, and now additional healing from Mordo if he's the most injured ally, but he will also sustain himself with perpetual self-healing on each enemy buff, as well as gaining stacks of deflect, which really help to reduce incoming damage. In my opinion, it's just what the doctor ordered. So there you have it. We checked out the kits for some upcoming characters, and we've gotten a first look at upcoming changes to some fan favorites. So what do you guys think about this new team? Let me know in the comments below. Lastly, for those that don't know, I stream Marvel Strike Force every single day on Twitch over at twitch.tv/Khasino every single day at 1 p.m. Pacific time. And of course, anyone is welcome to join my Discord server, which is discord.gg/Khasino, where we have blitz predictions, infographics, data mines, videos, content creator Q&A, and more. Otherwise, that's all I've got for you today, but I will have more news for you very, very soon. So make sure to like this video and hit that subscribe button so you can join the legendary Khasino notification squad and get news like this the minute it drops. On that note, I will see you very, very soon. But until then, peace!